All right, Spectres, welcome back to another extremely special episode of the Mass Effect Lorecast. Joining me, as always, is my co-host, Jennasis. And Jennasis, how are you doing?
I'm doing really, really good today. Overall at work was a great day. Hanging out with the kid today was a great day. And now I'm here doing a great episode.
All right. And we have a very special guest joining us, Peter Jessop, who you might know as Sovereign or Lorik Qui'in, or if you're into the Elder Scrolls, Miraak or Paladin Danse from Fallout 4. Peter, thank you so much for setting aside time to talk with us.
Happy to see you.
All right. And so we have a list of written questions for you that we want to get into. But first, I wanted to talk about something a little bit fun. I understand that you are a gamer yourself, right? What are some of your favorite games?
Honestly, the whole Mass Effect series. I'm an RPG guy. So the Elder Scrolls, Fallout, all the Fallout games. I've tried doing some of the horror stuff that I've done, like Resident Evil. And it's fun, but it's not as fun for me because it's not immersive. I've been playing a lot of No Man's Sky. I'm doing Outer Worlds 2 now because that just dropped. So,
oh yeah. I played Outer Worlds 1, loved the humor. Okay, so basically you're telling us that you have not just worked on Mass Effect, but that you played it too. Tell us some of your favorite decisions that you made in some of your playthroughs.
Oh, geez. I don't know. I mean, I'm extremely corny, so I've been Paragon every time I've done it. I just couldn't make myself be mean to people. And I've played both as male and femme shep. Mark's a good buddy of mine, and I love Jen. So it was hard not to play them both. I did the same thing with Fallout, actually, too. I played a lot as the female sole survivor.
Yeah. All right.
So
that's
Courtney Taylor is amazing as the sole survivor.
Yeah, yes, and she's great as Jack. Honestly, you know. Jack is one of my favorite characters in any game I've played. She really she nails it. It was the first really complex character I had ever seen in a video game. You play all these games,
many layers,
and everybody's just like, I'm a good guy, I'm a bad guy. And it's like, and there's Jack, and Jack is fucked up. Jack is badly damaged. And it's like you just want to help her, So and Courtney just killed it. She's such a great actor. So
yeah, that was an incredible performance. I agree. Because like you said, Jack is just kind of fucked up. And I think in my first or second playthrough, I remember I went through Jack's romance. I got to know Jack a lot more. And that was such a rewarding experience, going from, the hardened outer shell, I have to be the baddest son of a bitch in the valley to make sure no one's going to mess with me, to inside there is someone who is very, very deeply hurting. So, that was.
Yeah, it was just a magical thing. And the writing was fantastic. Honestly, the folks who wrote these shows, the original Mass Effect, in my opinion, is still probably the best written. But in 2 and 3, I think the introduction of Jack in 2 was just a masterstroke. I mean, just a brilliant character. There's a lot of good characters, and it's not to say that the other characters weren't good too. Everybody loves Tali, and so that was, But as far as what decisions that I've made, I couldn't even tell you. I played it so many times over the years. It's not a new game.
Oh yeah,
I'm just going to point that out. It's not a new game. So I just reloaded it and started to play it again a couple weeks ago, and then, like I said, Outer Worlds 2 dropped. So I kind of I put it on the back burner for now.
I completely agree. I don't know how, between Genesis and I don't know how many times we've played this game series, but certainly enough to mix and match different playthroughs in our minds, and we can't really sort memories straight. And we played with mods on this one and no mods on the other one, so who knows what's canon anymore. That's a chore when you run a Lorecast. But so talk to me a little bit about what it's been like working behind the curtain. So not just having the knowledge of playing the games, but how did you first start voicing characters for not just Mass Effect, but any game?
Well, I've been a gamer since I was a kid. I grew up in a town, university town, and we had a mainframe computer called Plato. And some of the folks out there might have heard of Plato. It was an education computer, but there were grad students, and the grad students had author program, the profiles, so they could write programs ostensibly for educational purposes. But they wrote a great, one of the first dungeon crawlers called Jabberwocky, and it was a wireframe and text-based dungeon crawler. And then the monster would pop up and it would just be a picture of it. You're fighting the monster. And
amazing.
Yeah. And it was, back in the 70s, there was nothing like it. And so I was completely hooked. And have been gaming ever since. And the reason I started doing voices in video games was because they were doing some expansions for MechWarrior. And there was no union contract. It was sort of the Wild West at that point in the mid 90s. And I wanted a free copy of the game. So I did a couple of characters in Ghost Bear Legacy, and they gave me a free copy of MechWarrior and the expansion so that I could play it. So that was pretty cool.
Oh man, that is a dream come true, I guess, right?
Oh, absolutely. And then every time I worked on another one, they would send me like Escape from Monkey Island. I got a free copy. It was great. And so on as we went. I didn't play Resident Evil when I first did it, because the version I did was for the GameCube. And I borrowed a GameCube from a friend of mine to try and play it, and I just hated the controller. Couldn't figure out how to interact with anything. I was like, screw it. When it came out as the remaster in 2015, I could play it on the Xbox, and it was great. It was, But so that's how I got started doing voices in video games, was because I like to get a copy of the game.
And what about? Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Genesis.
Oh, I was gonna say, and did that and how did you get involved with Mass Effect? And, was it just like another audition that you went to? And
yeah, it was literally just an audition. And the folks at BioWare were great because they brought us in to do, like, as you could, like he said, Lorik Qui'in. I'm like 15 different characters in Mass Effect. Besides Sovereign. There's one planet way the hell out there where I'm a cult leader.
Is that Elias Keeler?
Oh.
Probably. Yeah. And I had forgotten all about it until I landed there one day. I'm like, oh shit, that's me. Wait a minute. I forgot all about it. And the same with like Dragon Age Origins. I'm like, a dozen characters in Dragon Age Origins. So.
Yeah, I was going to ask, when we're talking about working among different projects, and especially voicing characters with multiple characters within the same project, what was it like working, for BioWare, for Mass Effect, and what was different perhaps about your work with them that you didn't see other places?
Well, it was fun. I worked a lot with Chris Edgerly as a director, and we'd been friends for years, and he's fun. He's just great to work with. I don't know that I've ever had a bad time working on a video game, but I think the only one I might have had some issues with was some of the Command and Conquer stuff I did. They gave me line readings for characters that I didn't really want to do, but it's their project. I gotta, and I've apologized for, by the way, because they were offensive and people were offended. And it was, but yeah, just in general, BioWare was great to work with. Bethesda's been great to work with. Bungie's been great to work with. I've been working with them for 10 years now on all the different variations of Destiny. Yeah, so EA has been fun to work with. They're a little stricter and they're more corporate, I think, in a lot of ways. So
okay,
yeah.
Oh, that sounds great. I think just being in the environment where you can have fun with the character and things like that is always great. Love hearing that. But let's talk about Sovereign for a minute. Because how did you get into character there? Like, how do you get into a sentient machine's head?
I play a lot of robots. I have been cast as an AI or a robot or a synth or a synthezoid or and I think part of it is just having good diction, because robots don't have lazy diction.
And
so
I'm not picking up any kind of regional accent from you either.
Yeah, I'm from Boston originally. I grew up in Chicago, but because of what I do, I can't really have a regional accent. I mean, I still think I sound a little Midwestern, but yeah, I guess it would be hard to peg. But there's absolutely no personality behind, or it's the lack of personality that is the personality, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Sovereign is so cold and unemotional that he's terrifying. I mean, that's what makes him scary, that whole monologue. And that was the great thing about Sovereign, is they had these really meaty monologues that I just got to go through. And, yeah.
Speaking of one of the monologue I think you're referencing is the, rudimentary creatures of blood and flesh. That reveal in Mass Effect 1 to date.
Wasn't it great?
Oh my God, that was one of the best villain reveals of any RPG that I can remember. And I was only 13. Yeah, 13 when I was playing Mass Effect 1. And I was like, wow, this is truly terrifying. Here I was thinking that I was chasing down this basically rogue special agent, Spectre. Right. And now I come to find out that it's actually a god that I'm up against. Yeah. When you were reading your lines for that one, walk me through a little bit of what your thought process was that you wanted to convey in Sovereign's tone, in Sovereign's, pauses, or rather lack thereof, the cadence, that kind of thing.
It was because it was such a great reveal. I knew you couldn't overdo it. It couldn't be like a whoa kind of villain. Because if you listen to what he's saying, he doesn't give a shit. You're absolutely irrelevant to him.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just letting you know. There's like the fact that he's even talking to you,
Yeah, you definitely got that vibe of like, wow, I am totally unimportant. Like I walked into a Fortune 500 CEO's office, right? And that kind of vibe of, he's going to show me the door in a minute, but first he wants me to know something.
Yeah. It's like the what's the meme? The Don Draper meme where he's in the elevator and he's like, I feel sorry for you. says, I don't think about you at all. You know,
That
just,
is,
you know,
cold.
It's that cold. It's that cold. So,
yeah. And speaking of Sovereign's voice, how much of that was post-production effects, and how much of it was you?
not a lot of it was post-production. I mean, they filtered it. But when you can do, if you're just that, you know, you exist because we allow it. Blah, blah, blah. You will cease to exist because we demand it. And it was just, you got it. And I burned my mouth, so I can't even do it properly now. I was telling them before the show started, by the way, folks, that I made my tea too hot and it was making me choke. And now I've burned my tongue. But yeah, that was the great part about Sovereign, is you just literally it's like a heart monitor with no beeps.
Ooh,
you know, it's still on.
Lining.
It's still on, but there's no response. He's not, you know.
So do you think part of, at least the way that you interpreted it, do you think it was Sovereign's goal to intimidate us during that monologue, or was that just a byproduct?
No, that was just a byproduct, because he literally did not care. Yeah.
Wow.
It's like, you know,
I definitely felt the terror.
You're bothering me. So I'm just going to tell you, your time is up.
Yeah, very matter of fact.
You know, so don't even bother trying to bother me, because it's not going to help. So yeah,
well,
I think that was.
Do you think of Sovereign as evil, or as just the big bad of the game, or do you think of him more as a force of nature?
I don't think he's necessarily evil. I think he's like that sort of, you know, like he's more of a Galactus kind of a character. You know, he's beyond. It's not that he's doing it to hurt people. He doesn't care enough to hurt you.
Which is
get hurt,
perhaps more scary.
Right. You know, it's not like he's trying to do this on purpose to make things bad for people. He's got what he's got. He's going to do what he wants to do. And if you're there and it kills you, well, that's too bad for you. You know, like your entire civilization gets wiped out.
Complete indifference. Yeah.
Because he's been doing this for so long. You know, that's the other thing too, is you think about the fact that you guys, throughout the whole game, you're finding these remnants of these ancient civilizations that are, you know, millions of years old. And that may be like the 2 generations before you that the Reapers wiped out.
So maybe Sovereign had a particular zeal about him like 60 cycles ago.
Right, exactly. And at this point, he's like, yeah, okay, whatever. Yeah.
Right. He's the guy who's coasting to retirement, maybe, who keeps showing up to work, and he's like, okay, fine, I'll do the whole spiel, but like, yeah, that's all you're getting. You're not getting anything extra.
Yeah.
Yeah. So some people use a trigger phrase or a word to get into the character's voice. Did you have anything like that for Sovereign, and or I guess any other mannerism that you might do to help like put yourself in Sovereign state?
I didn't, and primarily because I didn't want to put myself into Sovereign. I literally wanted to take everything out. Any identifying characteristics, any of that kind of stuff. I wanted to take it out. Because that makes him seem less human, because he's not. And, you know, so no, I didn't do anything to get into character. Literally just, you shut down. And I'm neurodivergent. So, happy chatty me is masking, you know? So that's just sort of like, just turn the switch off and go into default mode. Which may be another reason why I get cast as a lot of, you know, androids and stuff.
Yes. your trigger phase is turning off the switch,
Yeah.
not turning one on.
And that's such an interesting way to think about Sovereign too, in terms of, you didn't want to inject too much personality. You didn't want to inject any humanity into Sovereign. So instead of putting yourself into Sovereign's mind, like you said, you took everything out, and what was left was Sovereign. That's a really fascinating process. This is a question that when I heard that Jennasis had actually met you at RetroCon, I texted her and I said, you have to ask him this question for me, please. It was a very selfish question, but I think other people might actually be interested in the answer here. So how much were you told about the Reapers before recording? I know that this varies very widely between different projects and different voice actors and different studios. But basically, I'm asking, did you know anything about the Leviathans that were later revealed in Mass Effect 3, or was that a surprise to you too?
That was a surprise to me too, because I don't think they had come up with the Leviathans yet.
Okay, yeah.
I think in Mass Effect 1, it was just the Reapers. And I think they knew that Sovereign was the first Reaper that you encounter in any event. And that was going to set the stage for subsequent Reapers. But once they'd done 2 and they had all the Reapers in it, well, where do you go from there? We'll make something even meaner. And that's when the Leviathans came out. That's my guess. Before we did the first big reveal monologue, they gave me the backstory of what the Reapers were, how long they had existed, that this had gone through, 60, 100, 1,000 cycles of millions of years each. And that they were, basically immortal and completely detached. They were on a whole different plane of existence. So that much I got before we started doing it. And I had auditioned for it. And the spec on the audition was an artificial intelligence, an ancient artificial intelligence. And so that's what I had done for my audition, and they liked it enough to bring me in to do it. So.
Oh, okay. So ancient was a part of it. So you knew the age of the character that you were going for.
Yeah.
That would definitely change it, because also, like, you guys were talking about how, like, maybe 60 cycles ago, Sovereign had a little bit more of a pep in his step, but knowing that he's an ancient would also bring, like, I have been here forever, I am eternal, would bring a different voice to the character as well. Instead of like a Skippy AI from Cyberpunk who's brand new and super upbeat and happy.
Yeah. And this is, and again, to Sovereign, biological life is sort of like the buildup in your drain. And he's like, oh, fuck, I got to go clean out the fucking drain again.
Now I got to have a chat with the wife about how much hair is going down the drain.
Exactly.
This is why we have a cover.
And it ain't mine. Yeah.
Yep.
Aww.
So you're talking about a little bit about the direction they gave you right at the beginning, but what kind of direction did you get, if any, while you were recording, while you're going back and forth with the studio?
Oh, gosh. And remember, this was, a decade and a half ago.
18 years ago, actually.
Yeah,
right?
Almost 2 decades ago. They would set the scene that we were working on. I think I'd pretty much figured out what I was going to do with the character. So they would tell me, okay, this is where now you're attacking. So you're going to be a little more forceful, or the player character is really starting to piss you off. So, that was pretty much the direction.
Were there any particular lines that were especially challenging or really fun to deliver?
Honestly, I don't remember. I apologize. I will tell you, though, when I did the reveal monologue, it gave me goosebumps. You know, it really
Oh.
did, because it's like, holy crap, this is so cool.
Well, that's cool because those goosebumps transferred through the data onto the disc and, you know, through my Xbox back to me. So,
yeah. Well,
through
and
space and
to
time.
me, the first time I played it and I got to that scene, I was like, oh wait, this is the one. This is it. And I'm like logged onto the terminal, and the speech started, and I was like, oh, this is so fucking cool. Yeah.
Yeah. I think every single person I've spoken to who's played through Mass Effect to that point has agreed that that is definitely one of their favorite reveals of any kind of plot twist or any villain reveal of any video game over the past, I don't know how many, 30, 40 years.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask also, with your work in Mass Effect 1, for all your characters, you know, I know some voice actors don't record with anyone else in the studio. Some don't even meet the rest of the cast.
Yeah, we never met.
I was going to say, was it like that for you? When did you first meet other cast members?
That's interesting. Let's see. It's a fairly small community here in LA. So, like Keith and Courtney, I've known for decades. Ash, I met during the strike on a picket line, and I recognized her name. We started chatting or whatever, and she's like, "Oh my God, Mass Effect! We did Mass Effect together." And I was like, "Yes, that's it." And then we became buddies. And Bill Salyers, I literally just met on Sunday. I had not met him before. So, and as Jennasis knows, Katie Townsend, who is in Andromeda, and I have been friends for years. We met after Fallout came out. We had like a big cast party kind of a thing that Courtney arranged. So I met her there. We've been friends for, you know, ever since then. So.
So
but yeah, everybody recorded by themselves. We didn't have anybody else in the booth with us. So.
I think my internet's getting a little glitchy. It's that time of the night.
It is reliable around 7:30, that Genesis's internet. I think your internet's getting indoctrinated. I think that's what's happening.
Quite possibly.
Yeah.
We've spent too much time around a Reaper now, 28 minutes to be exact. We now have an exact answer as to how long it takes to get indoctrinated. 28 minutes, as it so happens. So you've been involved in quite a few projects. A lot of credits to your name on IMDb. A lot of work has your voice in them. Any one of them stand out to you? And it doesn't have to be Mass Effect, but any one of them stand out to you when you think back on some memories, and why might that be?
I think Fallout 4 probably. Because like I mentioned about the character Jack in 2, the character is so well written. Fallout 4 for me, Paladin Danse is such a great character. And he's got a great story arc, you know, like a whole story arc, and it's just, it was really cool getting to explore that character. And because he does have humanity, you can actually inject some of yourself into the character and all that kind of thing. So, but there have been a lot that have been a lot of fun. I did a game where we recorded it as a group, like an animation session. And which was great because you get to meet the rest of the actors and you get to play off of each other. And I thought it was a great idea. It turned out that it was called The Bureau, XCOM Declassified. And if any of you guys play XCOM, you know that it's a turn-based strategy game. So they wanted to make a shooter. And they had a great story. It was going to be a really good game. And then the fans blew up and were like, no, it's turn-based strategy. And they said, okay, well, we'll add turn-based strategy into the game. We must have recorded this thing a dozen times. The whole cast in the studio, doing the different scenes, doing the different stuff, because they kept changing the gameplay. So they had to change the story because they were hybridizing a turn-based strategy and a shooter. And it finally got to the point where they had gone so over budget on it that they fired everybody. I was not the main character, by the way. I'm the boss that gives you your assignments. They fired everybody except me, and they brought in Courtney Taylor to be the female character. They brought in Matt Mercer to be the male character. They brought in a bunch of people that they knew could go into a booth and go line, and just knock it out. And when it came out, it was unplayable. But it was sure fun to work on.
I was going to say, and so that was over the course of how much time? Like, a month, several months, a year?
No, a year. Yeah, it was about a year.
Oh my gosh.
And every couple of months we'd go back in and record some more. And it was an interesting cast. It was Neil McDonough, the TV actor that you may all know, was the main character. So, it was just fun working with him. The girl who played Harry Potter's mom was the female character, main female character. Just kind of cool working with these guys. Who else was in it? Carl Lumley was one of the characters in it. Yuri Lowenthal was in it. Yeah, it was really kind of a cool cast, and it was lots of fun hanging out and playing. But the only other time that I've done anything like that was when I did mocap a year or so ago for a game called Concord, which came out in September and was yanked in September, and they closed all the servers and gave everybody their money back. And
yeah, I remember that happening.
It was tragic because it was a great game. It was a great game. It was a 5 versus 5, team shooter game where you do capture the flag, or you do the different kinds of. The maps were great. The gameplay was great. Visually, it was fantastic. The cast was amazing. And we did all our own mocap, which was really kind of cool.
That is awesome. And from what you've seen, how much has the process of voice acting changed for video games since 2007? I guess it would have been shortly before working on Mass Effect 1. But since then to now,
it has not. Well, I'll rephrase that. Now, you have a monitor with your lines on it, and they'll post them for you. Back when we started, you had a piece of paper, you had a script in front of you that you had to read from. But really, no, it's pretty much the same process. I've just did some more stuff for. I think I'm allowed to talk about it. I did some stuff for Fallout 76. For the pit that I can talk about. And again, went in, they said, okay, you're the fanatic leader, and now you're this other guy, and line. And that's it.
Wow. Yeah. I imagine some people probably still carry the paper with them just out of habit, right? Or, betting on technology failing.
They don't give you the paper anymore.
They just don't give it to you.
No, they don't give it to you because everything's so secret.
Mm-hmm.
They don't even tell you what you're working on. Everything's got a code name.
Has it always been that way? Because
not so much. No, when I first, 24 years ago, when we recorded Resident Evil, they told us it was Resident Evil, and I just hadn't heard of the game because I wasn't a horror game fan. But no, over the years, I'm trying to think when Resistance came out. Resistance Fall of Man was the PS3 launch title. They told us what it was. They told us that it was going to be PlayStation only. It was for the new console. Going to be a big deal. I think we knew ahead of time on that one. But when I did Fallout 4, I didn't know it was Fallout 4 until I was in the booth. And I only figured it out because I had played Fallout And one of my lines was, "There's a group of ferals behind that." Wait a minute, is this Fallout 4? Is this Fallout? And they're like, "Yeah, you know Fallout?" I'm like, "Yes, I know Fallout." So that's the only reason I knew it was Fallout when I, like the first 10 minutes in the booth. But before that, I hadn't been told.
So, for everyone that hasn't worked in your industry, I think a lot of people would find that lack of transparency a bit odd. What's the rationale there?
I think there is a lot of industrial espionage in the video game industry. It is the largest entertainment industry. It's bigger than movies. It's bigger than TV combined. It is. It's just there's more money in interactive media, as they call it in our contracts, than in any other form of entertainment. So they're very protective of their IP. I'm trying to remember when I did Destiny, the original Destiny. They had 6 of us doing the different characters for the player character, because you could play as male or female, and there were 3 different races you could play as. And we never got to meet any of the other actors. They told me who they were. And I think the first session, Matt Mercer had gone in first. So we had to match his read in our own voice for the different characters, because they were going to animate it once, basically. So.
All right.
Yeah.
So we have a few questions popping up here in the live chat on Twitch, which, by the way, if you're listening to this after the fact and you're not watching us on Twitch, this is my chance to plug our live shows. So that's what I'm going to do. This is what you're missing. So Yukon Cornelius asks, do you think that the elusive man is simply misunderstood? A tragic character. Some would say that's what Yukon says.
No. No, I do not think that. I think he's just straight up evil. And yeah, so.
I would tend to agree. Yeah. So Yukon and I have chatted about that in other episodes. But Jennasis, I see another question there from Yukon, a question that you had actually written down here that you wanted to ask Peter anyway.
Yeah, so there's always the big 3 questions that you ask any Mass Effect fan. And we've all played the game so many times, so I guess it's kind of your favorite way to go through it. But it's the big 3 questions. Do you pick Ashley or Caden? Who is your favorite romance? And what's your favorite ending?
And don't worry, there's no wrong answers, and there's certainly not a sizable contingency of sci-fi fans who are rabid and waiting to jump down your throat.
Ashley or Caden? That's tough, because I've done both. So, but favorite romance would have to be Jack.
Yeah.
And although Tali's great too. They were all fun, because that was a brand new thing. When they came out with the romanceable character, I'm like, ooh, this is going to be cool.
Oh, yeah. What did you think when you saw that Mass Effect had made it onto Fox News?
Excuse me. Did they make it on?
Yeah. Back in 2007. Yeah. In 2007, they made it onto Fox News because of, I guess, what they considered to be distasteful side boob. And during the Liara romance scene, if I remember right, Genesis?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. Oh, it's in all 3 scenes with all the female characters. Liara, Femshep, and Ashley all show side boob, and that's considered indecent.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think back then my in-laws were watching Fox News. I don't know.
I just remember the online chatter about it. It was pretty funny. But I have another question here. You know what? Do you remember which ending that you'd picked?
I've done so many different endings too.
People are basically thinking, okay, would Sovereign have picked Synthesis?
Yeah, I'm sure I did. At one point. But again, it's one of those things that I must have played this game 20 times in the last 18 years, maybe. So
in that respect, you actually are kind of becoming a little bit like Sovereign, having gone through the cycle.
Exactly. So whichever ending, I don't know, honestly. They've all blurred together for me. So
right on. So Day Zero in chat here says, are you looking forward to the Elder Scrolls 6?
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah. No, that's going to be, I mean, we'll see when that happens, but, you know, I was not involved.
Yeah. Well,
yet.
Who knows? Yeah. I don't know anything besides that teaser we got 7 years ago. I'm very much looking forward to that one as well. Morrowind is still it's got a special spot in my heart right next to Mass Effect. So I'm going to be looking forward to that Elder Scrolls 6 game as well. But I also wanted to ask you, since you do see the elusive man as being just a plain asshole, he's evil, but Sovereign and the Reapers are a little bit more of a force of nature. Do you think that dissonance right there is what gives the antagonists throughout the trilogy such a compelling dynamic? Where in Mass Effect 3 you have both going on, both Cerberus and the Reapers.
Yeah. I would say sure. Yeah. I mean, if they're not actually fighting each other, it's not. So yeah, it gives you more to do. It's such an open world, especially by the time you get to 3. It's like that's like asking if you put chili in something and you put lime in something, does that make it better? Yes,
absolutely.
It's got chili and lime, so
All right, and I knew this question was going to come up, Jennasis, and I already know that even if the answer is yes, you cannot tell us. However, I am required to ask it. Ripper Doc in chat here says, has he, being you, heard anything about the next Mass Effect? Maybe from Jennifer Hale.
I have not. And that's not because I can't say anything. I literally haven't heard anything. And I love Jen. I haven't actually seen Jen in person in 7 years.
Wow.
Yeah. Just our paths we've spoken. But yeah. So
sorry, Ripper Doc. No, he has not heard anything about the next Mass Effect. But we all might hear something a little bit more. And in 3 days, we're recording this on November 4th.
Yeah.
So in 7 days this episode
That's
should
true.
be.
I could also ask Mark. I saw Mark Muir just a couple months ago. We were hanging out and was talking to him on Sunday. So
yeah. If he
didn't say anything about it.
If he has any details, if he could relay them in the Blasto voice, that would be perfect. All right, and yeah, so 3 days from now we got In 7 Day coming up.
Yes.
This episode will be going live on podcast platforms and YouTube on the 6th, so just before In 7 Day. So before anyone else sees this episode after In 7 Day and go, well, why didn't they, ask about this? We didn't know. That being said, as a fan, not just someone who's worked on the game, but as a fan of Mass Effect, what are you hoping to see on In 7 Day?
I mean, if they made an announcement about a new Mass Effect, I would be thrilled. And please don't take this the wrong way, BioWare and all the guys involved, but I would like to see a Mass Effect that is not Andromeda.
I think a lot of people are probably going to resonate with that one.
Yeah.
What do you think, Jen?
Yeah, I agree. I think
I have a lot of friends that worked on Andromeda too, so it's not. I'm not dissing them. I just did not enjoy it as much. So
yeah, I want the play style to be a little bit more reminiscent of the OG trilogy, and hopefully the setting is in the Milky Way and not the Andromeda Galaxy. I don't mind the idea if we can get the Angara into the Milky Way galaxy in some way, shape, or form, but that is for much further down the line and where they are in production right now. And yeah, I'm hoping to hear more about the TV show. That'll be interesting. Are you excited for that?
oh yeah, that's gonna be cool.
Yeah.
If they can do it right. The thing is, when you adapt games to TV shows, it can go one of two ways. It could go Resident Evil, Halo, or it could go Fallout. And hopefully they can adapt it in such a way that it conveys all, because that's the thing. When they made the Halo TV series, it was obvious to me that nobody involved in production had actually played the game. And the same with Resident Evil. I tried so hard to watch it. And I loved Lance Reddick, who was Albert Wesker, which I have also played. And was looking forward to, joking with him about, hey, people are going to start mistaking us for each other now, before he passed, and I didn't get a chance to. So, but they didn't understand the game. They didn't understand what people like about it. When they did Fallout, they had Todd Howard involved. If they do, when they do the Mass Effect series, I think they need to keep the creators involved.
I forget who it was, but there was one of the original writers is part of the TV series, and I think that's going to be key.
Well, I know Mike Gamble is also working on it with them in some kind of capacity as an EP or consultant, and I know that whatever EP means anymore, but yeah.
Well, it's executive producer. I mean, he's
right.
That's the showrunner. So
right. So
yeah.
So I guess we'll see what that means and how it translates once that TV show comes out. Who knows when it does? Man, I would really, really love to see a trailer on N7 Day for that. Although I think I'm probably getting ahead of myself there.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Jennasis, do you have any final questions?
We have talked so much tonight, and it's been absolutely amazing hanging out with you. So I just wanted to say thank you once again. You were amazing to me at Portland Retro Gaming Expo. Your panel that you did with Katie about the BioWare versus Bethesda, that was a great panel to sit in on. Absolutely loved that conversation that everybody had there. And
that was a misleading title, by the way, to all of you who didn't see it. Because it wasn't really about versus, it was,
It was still very, very interesting, the ways that the conversations went and everything like that, and random sayings from Claptrap every once in a while didn't hurt the situation.
Wow, what timing! Because I actually just started playing Borderlands 4 last night, and it's the first Borderlands game I've ever played. So perhaps I'm a good case study. But it's really fun. It's the cinematic kind of intros in the very beginning some have made me laugh out loud. And it's been like, I don't want to say lighthearted because it's super gory, right? But it's felt lighthearted in comparison to some of the other single player story driven games that I play. Like, not everything needs to be like end of the world gravitas, right? So the gunplay has been extremely fun. The voice acting is amazing, and like I said, the cinematics have been thrilling. So I'm looking forward to playing more of it with my friends. But yeah, it's been great. And so I've been toggling between that and the Elder Scrolls, which I think I told you in the pre-show chat here that Miraak, another character you voiced, by far one of my favorite characters from Skyrim, because he's in the Dragonborn DLC.
Yes.
So it sounded like, just my memories of having played the game. You must have had a lot of fun with Miraak.
Oh yeah, no, Miraak was great. He was because I could be a little over the top.
Not a robot.
Not a robot, a Viking, and yeah. So just doing a Norwegian accent and threatening the player, and that was one of the few villains that I've gotten a chance to do the sort of the kind of villainy stuff.
Yeah, and so, I kind of detected a little bit of like a "why is it you? It should have been me" kind of thing.
Yeah,
that resentment. So yeah, that was fun. Well, Peter, thank you so much for spending so much time with us on the Lorecast just a couple days or a few days before N7 Day. I have one final question to ask you, a favor, really. If you could give us the Sovereign voice, and in the Sovereign voice, just tell us you're listening to the Mass Effect Lorecast.
Yes. I'm going to move up on my mic here. So you're listening to the Mass Effect Lorecast.
All right, chills. Well, that
was the other trick too. You got to work the mic.
Oh yeah, you got to get real close.
Yeah.
All right. I think.
Is there anything that you wanted to shout out or plug before we finally wrap that? Or Sam, did you have another question?
Oh, I was just gonna say, I think Sovereign might also have a future in NPR, but.
Sovereign, do a Sovereign ASMR podcast.
There's a market.
I would listen.
That'd be creepy. I got nothing to plug, honestly. There are a couple things I'm working on, but I'm under NDA, so I can't even talk about it. There's a great fan event for Fallout happening in Good Springs, Nevada, 14th, 15th, and 16th, so like in a week. That it's a huge fan gathering in Good Springs, Nevada. They do it every year, and a bunch of us from Fallout are going to be there, from New Vegas and from Fallout 4 and from the TV show. So if anybody wants to go to Vegas and check that out, we'll be there. But that's about it. I got nothing else to plug.
All right. I think I've seen photos from that event in the past before, and that does look like a blast.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's all we got for this week, Spectres. Thank you so much for listening. And if you're listening to this right when it comes out, tune in next week because we are going to be breaking down whatever it is that we get this N7 Day. But just because I want to throw my dart at the board, I'm willing to bet you guys that it's just a blog post. So we'll see if I'm right. But until next time, Spectres, we should go.